get so much better. Like we're up there. So you have to become more of an athlete. You got to get stronger, faster. You know, all that. How you doing, sir? Hello, wheelbarrow.
Yeah, ammo cans, things like that.
Awesome. All right, let me just grab the card. I'll come to your car. Nope. Preferred. This is a little. Look, you can already see there's a fucking 22 shell right here. Yeah, I got here protection. I'll grab it. Yeah, I have ground paint. This one own over. Now that I'm decent with a bow, I understand that even my foot position of here to here matters. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to shoot at all. So I used to just think, go and shoot.
You're building, you're in archery, you are the whole thing.
Yes.
With guns, you can play a lot. Because, all right, so archery, your wingspan is your stabilization. Stabilization here, I'm dealing with your handguns, bullets, your barrels are this big, 3-inch barrels. So as long as that's stable, you can do some really cool shit with guns and you can be very, very accurate. Because again, as long as you got that finger length of accuracy, stabilization, you know where it's gonna go. You can shoot around corners, you can do weird shit, movie stuff. But again, a lot of that stuff, the same fundamentals, same principles, but very different applications. Because like I said, your wingspan is your trajectory and your stabilization, as opposed to literally, as long as you got a good, decent enough grip to squeeze off the shot, you're gonna be accurate.
I was gonna learn just kind of. I like it. Decent. Let him loose. Now this is John Zoro, also known as Zoro. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, also an experienced firearms handler, tactical shooter. Not really sure of the moniker here, but basically he's a badass when it comes to anything in this field. So I've asked him to come and help me learn so I can get more comfortable with pistol, as I have experience with rifle, but my pistol abilities are subpar to say the least. So he's coming here to help me out, show me a few things, bring me up to speed.
To put a label on it, Minuteman is the best way I can describe it. Realizing that I could not fight, could barely defend myself, had a family, bought a house. Naturally, the next thing to do is to buy a bunch of guns. You buy a bunch of guns, you have this amazing ability to make bad guys go away, but you don't necessarily know how to do that. I ended up getting a job at a gun range, working for about 5 years. Every cent that I made went into the armory that I have and gun training. Learning how to shoot, learning how to be proficient. It felt like an obligation. I had this immense power to be able to hurt people and didn't know how to properly apply that. I took a lot of trainings from tactical response, Haley strategic, Costa Luda. There was a period of time, there were probably about 5 to 8 years that I trained nonstop. Learned a bunch. Best way I can describe is maybe a solid purple belt, maybe a brown belt in firearms handling. A lot of close quarter stuff, urban environments, things like that. And again, it just kind of came from an obligation. I had these things and I want to learn how to use them properly. Today, we're going to learn basics of handgun fighting. I like to call it fighting because that's what we're doing. We're not blinking. We're not doing this for sport. We want to be able to stop bad people from doing bad things. And this is the most effective way of doing it. There's a lot of different ways, both proficient at jiu-jitsu, grappling. This is the great equalizer. Doesn't matter how, you don't have to train for 9 years or look like Keith to be able to get the bad guy to stop doing the bad stuff. So to start off with, 4 firearm safety rules. Number 1, treat every firearm as if it's loaded. Number 2, they don't go bang without you touching the trigger, so keep your finger off the trigger until you've made the decision to shoot. Number 3, be aware of your target and its surroundings. He comes from a military background. Bullets do weird things. They ricochet, they can break apart, random stuff, very easily for them to be diverted off track. And the last rule, keep the muzzle from crossing anything you're not willing to destroy or purchase. Your grip that you're going to be starting to establish, you're ready or lefty?
Ready.
Ready. So up as high as possible in the tang as you can get, making sure there's no space here. Nice meaty part of your hand in between the two knuckles. This pressure that you're creating is gonna go front to back. Finger nice and high out of the trigger guard. I like to keep this thumb kind of flared so I can establish the grip of my other hand. Other hand is gonna fill in this space facing forward. Same thing anatomically. We kind of want to create stuff that makes sense here. This should all feel very intuitive.
It's straight out.
Correct. I don't overthink, like I was kind of telling you with archery, there is an ideal. If I'm competition shooting, if I'm well aware I'm about to do some shooting, I would maybe present a smaller package. I would get low.
Right.
I would want to be very athletic, almost in that
Paper
squatter.
killing versus people killing.
Correct. Yeah, I would move. You see how you're kind of on the knuckle there? I would move just the slightest bit. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. So now flare this finger, build in this hand here.
Boom.
And now try to create as much contact, loosen up a little bit this hand. You want a stable platform, but you don't necessarily, it's almost like jujitsu grips. I want to hold, but I'm not choking
squeezing.
you. I'm not choking you.
I'm in control, but I'm not pressuring you.
Correct. You'll find if once you start to squeeze, you're gonna start to waver.
Yeah, if I squeeze, my hands will do this.
Correct.
I need to be loose, but I need to be rigid.
Not necessarily loose. You want firmness, but just on that edge of starting to wiggle.
Understood.
It's relatively good there. So lowercase I, and again, depending on what you're pointing at and what you're aiming for, putting this notch, that V notch, that little that dot, the golf ball basically, in between there, lowercase I, and now we've confirmed it's unloaded, but you can touch the trigger, focus on that front sight, try to aim at whatever you're doing, and keep it as still as possible. Slowly pull all the way back to the rear. Beautiful. So if you were pointing at something, that would have been a very accurate shot.
Right. So so the one thing that I've always been back and forth, and even I struggle with in archery, is 2-eye versus 1-eye.
Okay.
Because if I go 2-eye, I see double on the eye.
Correct.
And I center, right?
Yeah.
But if I go 1-eye, I now have to move.
Yes.
From one eye side to the next. And I've struggled with that in archery. But with archery, I found my home with 1-eye. And I'm good with that, and I've honed that, and I'm okay. But I don't have a preference here. So maybe you help me decide on one.
So the line of sight that I'm gonna be actually focusing on is gonna be my right eye. I still see the left version, but I'm focusing on the right.
Ignore it.
Right.
So
you almost create like a lazy eye. You almost create a lazy eye.
So I still will line up my pivot point, or whatever you call that,
notch,
right? Or wedge, notch, eye to my dot.
Correct.
But only out of that right double vision.
Yes.
Okay.
I will ask you to present. You're gonna come up, and if you want, close it for a second. Because that creates that okay, that's the version that I want.
Okay.
Because if not, you're kind of like, oh shit, I'm off. I don't know which one. You know what I mean? You see me blinking there. So if what I kind of do is I'll close that left eye momentarily, just so I can almost reinforce that. All right, this is the line that I'm going on. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, those deadlift hands.
Yeah, he does. Mitts.
Man, that one eye closed and then open it
Helps.
That made all the difference.
What I find in my normal draw stroke is I'm here and it naturally lines up. I can start. I've already seen this here, and if it's honestly close quarters, I'm able to make shots here.
Right.
This is what I always teach girls how to shoot. You get your gun, you press it right here, right in between your titties, and you just. This is where the bad guy is. Square as possible, a lot of recoiling, and it stays right here. I don't have to think about anything more than this.
Right.
And honestly, anything from that tree close, I promise you I'm gonna hit. What some people will do is they'll come down to the gun. You see that?
Yeah.
See where I'm building into here, and now it's exactly where I want it to be.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
So little tricks there.
I like that how you just went, because I mean, if you have the feel.
Correct.
Right.
Or if you're in a rush.
Why?
Somebody's running you.
Yeah.
A lot of retention shooting where I'm shooting here. I'm shooting from here, from my hip.
Right.
I'm protecting my head. I'm getting in close. If I'm doing this on a person,
right,
I'm here. I'm grappling.
True.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to create angles. You know what I mean? So that I'm protecting the back of my head. I'm gunning in here.
Right.
And I'm trying to work very close things, but I'm not taking the time to make sure I'm aiming at you.
Right.
Thing trigger reset with you.
Sure.
Before we go to that, very simple. Should get your grip again. So you feel a decent amount of tension there. You feel good.
I feel I'm locked in.
So line it up.
Right.
Line it up. Focus on the front sight. Try, for now, just try to keep it as still as possible. Touch the front trigger. Slowly pull it all the way to the rear. Beautiful. Keep it now. Here's now trigger reset is something that's also going to mitigate travel, but also increase your follow-up shots.
Keep holding it.
Keep holding it back. There you go. Yep. Keep holding it back. Now, slowly pull it out until you hear a click. A little too much.
Oh, you want me to grab the click?
Here. Understood. The way this would look, I do now, this is called dry fire, and I do this constantly because your only inaccuracies are going to come from that trigger manipulation.
Right.
And I can do that till I go blue in the face.
Yeah, because now you have that feel. Bang, bang, bang,
so
bang.
now watch my trigger. So I'm out, I'm focusing on the front sight, boom, it goes bang. Now it would have cycled, I didn't have to manually do that. I'm only gonna let it come out up until I hear the click. Now I'm keeping tension on it, so now I only have to break the trigger. Start off with, we're going to be shooting a Smith&Wesson M&P Compact 22. This is it has a manual safety on it, semi-automatic. It has a suppressor on it. This is a Silencer Co. Sparrow and traditional just iron sights.
Sir.
All right. So you're not going to feel empty. It's okay. It's okay. It's not. It's honestly not. I would rotate this maybe a little bit over that way. Yeah. I'll go over here for the picture. 90%. 5. I don't know.
No, I think you should.
Yep. There you go. So now move. So now go slow. So get your. Yep. You're getting there. Nice and still. There you go. So don't take it. Keep your finger on the trigger at the end.
Yes.
All the way. All the way pressed.
Yes.
All the way. There you go. Empty. Good. No big deal. Control of the recoil and the mechanical feeling of when to pull out the trigger, that trigger finger, is where you get that fast double taps and then repeated gunfire, repeated lines of fire.
I was happy because the thing started swinging a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's keep going.
I think I heard it, but
yeah. It was swinging a lot and it was still hitting. I was like, ooh.
There it is. There. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
No.
It started to feel good.
I like that because you're starting to get a rhythm. The rhythm is more important than actually going fast.
Yeah.
You know that. You know you can find.
I wasn't trying to go fast. I was going when I was ready.
Correct.
For the trigger reset.
Yes.
And it just started happening faster.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I wasn't trying to rip them. I was just going at the pace that the pistol was allowing me to. You know what I mean?
I want you to just see something right now. And this will really bring it home. So now do the same exact deal with the trigger reset, and now focus on your small target. Actually, go with the big target. So I have the redundancy of iron sights, and then the red dot.
Okay.
So the beneficial parts of the red dot is I can now focus. The red dot actually gets clearer the more you focus on your target.
Right.
So now do the same exact thing. Focus on your target the whole time now, and just present the gun up and put the gun in between you and your eye and the target.
Bring it to. Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
That's some sensei stuff, but.
There you go. What are you looking at?
Small target. I'm looking at the dot center of the target.
There you go. If that makes sense.
Yes. Understood.
Yes.
I'm getting a pinpoint only.
And this is still relatively gross. This is a 3.5 MOA dot, which is huge. That's big. That's big. You would not put that on a rifle.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you understand that.
Yeah.
That's your language.
Like
so.
that's a big sight.
Right. And,
but
it
was still fucking wild all over the place.
Yeah. What I end up telling people is that some people will be a little more hesitant to shoot with the red dot because they want it to be that stable, perfect on the center of the target. And what I tell them is there's still so much room for error between that break and you actually doing it that just trust your line of sight. That even though the dot's bouncing, you're still gonna make it on the target. You got a lot of room of error there, basically.
Right.
So 21 feet, you cannot get your gun out of your holster and get accurate rounds off before I'm within grabbing distance of you.
Yeah, for your average person.
For your average person.
Yes.
So this was a whole NYPD thing, study, FBI, blah, 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 of I'm not shooting people that are close to me.
No.
There's no point in it. I'm now introducing a gun when it could be very safe in my holster, as opposed to the person's very far away.
What is that percentage that's pretty ridiculous? The amount of people that get shot with their own guns, the ones that bring the gun.
Right.
It's something like 80% of the people that bring the gun get it taken and then shot. Mostly because
it's exactly that tooler drill is I'm hanging out, all of a sudden something's going on, the guy's over there, oh my God, I'm gonna shoot him, he's on me before I can even get it out. So I'm stuck with it still.
What's the percentage of people that are completely untrained in pistol and self-defense, and now you're bringing it out, and you're scared. You've never shot a gun, really.
This is exactly.
You're not prepared to take a life as well.
This is exactly what I would see at the gun range, because every person ends up showing up. They're like, what's a girl gun? And they're like, oh, looks like a girl gun. So now you have this is a scandium titanium. This is a 8-ounce gun.
Yeah.
That's taking 357 rounds out of it.
Yeah.
Which could
You're not ready for that.
Hurt the hell out of somebody.
You're not ready for that.
So, and not only that, you have a very long trigger press. So now, little old grandma grabs the gun, grabs it, I have it on target.
Yeah.
But because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm breaking shots in the floor. Yeah. And I just did that 5 times, and now this thing is a paperweight.
Yeah, it's something to get beaten with.
Exactly. I like one time you got all the way off, you came in, and then you slowed down, and then you reset.
I was upset with myself.
You had a nice shot after that, and then you made the same mistake again. If you noticed, okay, good.
Twice.
I'm only pointing out what you're recognizing in your head.
I did a full trigger release, and I was like,
yeah.
And that was the one I missed.
I'm only fine tuning you now.
No, tell me everything.
You're a little bit quick on once you find the wall and the reset. I want you to be a little bit smoother on the back.
Okay.
The press. You're taking the space a little bit too fast. Is the only thing I'm telling you.
Understood.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you take the space a little bit too much, you might be a little more inclined to jerking. Is the only reason why.
Understood. That makes a lot of sense.
And that'll really start to magnify itself with the 9 and the 38.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, no, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
That felt good. It felt good. Yeah. And what I like is I noticed.
Yes.
I
could tell.
Release.
I didn't say anything because I noticed you noticed it.
Yeah.
And then you cleaned it up on the next round, and then the next round you missed.
Yep.
So it was like, all right, I fucked up, I fixed it, and then I followed through with the next one, and then the next one I was like, I forgot, and then you got back to it,
But now I see that you make mistakes, you miss.
Well, worst case scenario is you notice that shake, you can always back up off the trigger.
Yes.
Especially here.
Yeah.
If the guy's coming at you, just hopefully
keep it ripping.
Hopefully you got a good surrounding, so you don't have the kid's not standing right next to you. You know what I mean, basically. But it's out here and fuck it, I got an extra mag.
Yeah. The only thing happens when I miss is I get upset.
Yeah. Naturally.
That's it.
A little more movement. It's just the mental game of there's more of an explosion going on.
Yeah, so my reset is
Correct.
After the first shot, I definitely was not keeping the trigger retention at all.
Yeah. And that's just, it's up here, and it's honestly, it's worse with us guys. For whatever reason. Women are better at disassociating with the explosion. We are always trying to control it.
Yeah.
We have to, why is this thing getting the better of me? Why is it throwing off my sights? So now I'm trying to overcompensate. So it's going back to that balance of the firmness of it's not flying out of my hands, but I'm purposely pulling all the way to the rear. Don't think about the shot, think about pulling all the way to the rear.
Yeah, I was shooting low. Stop moving.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you find your aim.
I just wanted to reset.
Yeah.
What I was definitely doing, even in the ones that I was missing after I was hitting, I was still naturally bringing it back up.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, stop doing that. And I bring it back down to where it was like looking like an eye.
Right.
And I was like, boom, and it hit, boom, and it hit. And then for some reason, I'd go back up and I'd miss. That's when I'd reset.
Right.
Like, okay, reset.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of variables. That's honestly sometimes why I like either the iron sights. Sometimes these get overly complicated. The 3 dots maybe I guess kind of make a little more sense sometimes for some people. Yeah. But at least these make sense in my eyes. So you're dealing with
it definitely makes sense when you're accustomed.
Right.
So if this is your main pistol, that's just how you shoot.
Yeah.
Got bit by red ants. Red ant. That's okay, back on. Live fire.
You had talked about with the first gun, you'll have those fundamentals down, you'll feel it. But then as you use the other ones, they'll start to go. Is that fatigue? What is that from?
It's all mental. What it is because you're noticing, you see the recoil and obviously the sound, your mind is very much telling yourself that you're doing something bad. And again, we're much more inclined to try to control that. So we overemphasize by pressing into it, by compensating for that change. And the better you get at understanding on when it's gonna go bang, is that last little minute travel is when it comes off.
Pretty nice. Yeah. The front lifts are assholes. They hate you. They probably would arrest me on point.
Oh, the gun buyback? No, I would not show up with the gun buyback.
No, they would arrest me immediately.
Immediately. They'd immediately say, sir, this is...
Right side trigger, carbon fire barrel, I made all this. I was trying to make it black and copper. So these are actually all 3D printed. The mag release, the pull, these are just copper tubings. I had all these, I 3D printed all these plastic, and I sent them out to have them copper coated.
Oh, okay.
So it's real copper on the mag release and on the right side trigger. But if you notice, there's no safety and no trigger select, nothing.
Right.
Even the magazine catch is all gone.
Right.
I emitted everything except for the mag release.
Right.
That is the only mechanical besides the trigger, which is a custom trigger setup as well, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
This is a real life Call of Duty.
Yeah. So without the silencer, this thing weighs like 2 point something pounds.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I mean, just all the weight. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, all the weight, bro. The weight comes with the barrel and the.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So it's with just I have a little titanium suppressor.
Next time I'll bring my 2 ARs. I have 2.5 ARs.
Yeah.
2 ARs and then
So now feel it.
The three.
This was
going to
be like my home defense / hunting rifle.
It's hilarious.
I'm comfortable with the 9mm as well. Honestly, it's just the red dot that is throwing me off, but I don't understand how to place the red dot yet.
Yeah.
And I would like to, even if I miss every shot, as long as I have an understanding. Okay, I just want to feel the weight.
Oh yeah, and scandium
Like,
and things like that.
I can notice it, but not enough to make me miss.
Right.
If I miss, it's me.
Right.
It's not the suppressor, right?
What I'm hoping is it takes away from some of it. Number one, it reduces recoil.
Yes.
And number two, obviously, it compresses all that concussion.
Yeah.
So now with a little bit of a break and a reset, as long as you're slow with the press, I think your accuracy will come
So
up
I
a
want
lot
to
more.
focus on this now. Bang.
No.
Bang.
No.
No?
Bang.
Okay. Okay.
Bang. Slow with the press back to the wall.
Right, okay. Understood.
That's what I. What I tell you?
It was the trigger pull.
Can I tell you right away?
It was the trigger pull, right?
Yeah.
Those felt much smoother, of course, but really getting back on target
Correct.
was better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, the recoil pushed me off, but not so much.
Yeah. Even more so, you're having less recoil because of the suppressor. The suppressor's a cheater, man. It's really.
It's not cheater, it's a tool.
It's a disservice. It's
a tool.
It's a tool that I wish more people had access to.
Yeah.
Is the problem. All of a sudden this thing became an assassination weapon.
TV.
And really, it's the best tool to have a new shooter, girls, and I don't have to wear hearing protection.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit of it.
I like not wearing hearing protection because it's the same thing like when we always bring up jiu-jitsu. When I compete, like, I don't know about you, but I don't wear headphones. And it's just because I'm in my environment.
Right.
I hear the wind, I hear the trees, I hear myself breathing, I hear you next to me. It's like I hear the chain rolling. When I'm getting ready to compete in jiu-jitsu, you hear your music, your hype, but then when I take it off, I hear the people talking,
Everything.
I hear my feet stepping, now I hear myself breathing loud. I don't want to go from one environment to the next. I need to be already in the environment that I'm going to compete in. And right now I'm competing me versus the target.
Right.
So with the earmuffs on, I feel like I'm distracted.
Too much. Yeah.
Like it's shutting off all the senses, and now I'm so much into this. But right now the environment's here with me. So I like no muffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm in the actual environment that I'm training in versus being in one environment and then another.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
It looks and feels like a machinist made this.
Yeah.
An experienced metal worker knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? Versus, the polymer guns I love.
Well, it's plastic. It's a mold.
Exactly.
You know that from your
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love polymer guns because they're easy. They're easy. They don't break.
Yeah.
But this is just different. This is the one like you have in the wood case. You open up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Slow. Way too fast. Painfully slow. Painfully. So, rimfire, inherently more prone to not work. You don't have the consistency of a igniter.
Center fire.
Right. So you know that stuff basically. So I would start number one.
Rimfire is very prone to misfires.
Correct. Another good tool, and maybe next time I come out, I bring plastic rounds. and I'll randomly load them within. So now all of a sudden you're gonna get a click.
And you gotta
And
clear it.
you gotta clear it, but you're also getting a rep in of where that trigger press was and how that looked.
Yes.
So that's a huge
I like that.
tool. Not quite as many variables first day.
But it's cool. It's like to say, oh, clear the round, no fire, bang, bang. Maybe, you know, even have to drop the mag, look,
Yes.
re-put it back in,
Well, there's two. I'll give you two ways. You either have a type 1 or type 2. All right. So if I come out and I get a click and no bang, instantly I'm going to a tap rack. Most likely what was in the chamber was wrong. So now I'm immediately getting rid of that.
Right.
I go back to shooting. I get a click. After 2 clicks, no bang. Now that means I have a type 2. Best way I've found to do that is to pull out the magazine, rip, 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 and then get back in. Reload again, and then get back on. So as long as you get a good understanding of whenever there's a click and no bang, I would suggest the 22.
Pretty damn cool day. Got to learn a bunch of pistol techniques that I was never taught. Feel like I'm at least 50% more dangerous now. And I feel like it's the beginning of her learning a whole new martial art and then adding to my skill set of becoming a more capable human being. Hard shot.
Yeah. I think you pissed them off.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Bring it home. Don't hit me, please. Oh, hell yeah.